So guys, I'm going to be analyzing this blank chart of NZDJPY in under 5 minutes. First of all, I'm going to analyze it without explaining anything. I'm going to do it really fast, and then after analyzing it, I'll break every single thing down to you so you can understand the way I think when I take the trade, the way I analyze my pairs, and my exact strategy behind my exact reason or strategy behind taking the trade. The exact time is 9:14. I've got 5 minutes. Let time start right now. Some stuff here, and then 1 hour. I've got my trendline. I've got my trendline on the 1 hour time frame. Okay. So on the 1 hour, got some stairs here. Well, yeah, but this doesn't really matter anyway. Yes, I can do this. So I'm seeing some patterns here happen here, and it's happening right here again. So this was like a double top right here, and then we broke it, and then now we're retesting this particular area. So this could really go for, maybe let me check the 4 hour time frame again. I'm gonna move this. Okay, we had a move right here, and the 4 hour is bearish. Okay, so we had a bearish engulfing right here. And let me try going over. Okay, I can see that we have this. I'm seeing some patterns. Okay, so I'm going to sell. My stop loss on here. I'm going to have to check the 4 hour time frame, and then put my just put it. Okay, so it's up to 1 to 2. Yes, it's up to 1 to 2. Time stopped by, it took 3 minutes. I'll check 2 minutes and something seconds probably to analyze this entire trading chart. That is how fast you can analyze a blank chart. Like, if you are not analyzing this fast, you might not be able to analyze as fast as me, but you need to analyze fast. Like, if you cannot analyze a chart under like 5 to 10 minutes, just forget it. Don't even take that trade. So the first thing I saw is on the daily time frame, right? I can see that there's a lot of liquidity, and again, there's no point saying, oh, I have to go back and say, okay, this was an uptrend, because there's no point of straining my eyes doing that. Because let's even look at it. This is like price action that happened since October 2025. This was like the trend since last year. So why do I need to go and be looking at price action that happened last year? That's like old news. So what I want is something recent, right? So this is what's happening on the daily time frame on NZDJPY. Price, you can obviously see that price is consolidating around this resistance level. So there's a lot of liquidity that was happening there, and as you can see, the latest news that happened is I don't really trade liquidity like that. I'm not all those liquidity traders. I just understand that liquidity is just basically an exchange, buyers and sellers, an exchange between buyers and sellers. Is where like a lot of action is happening on the chart. That's basically what liquidity is, where a lot of money is exchanging on the chart between buyers and sellers. So I just understand the whole concept to it. So you can see there was liquidity on this resistance level that was here on this line. So now what happened? We swept liquidity. And what happens when you sweep liquidity? So now let's say now we always anticipate that when price get here we sell. When price get here we sell, we keep selling. So now let's say now the person that wanted to sell this trade and probably put their stop loss above this high and then probably join their TP anywhere they want, what would happen? They would have lost this trade. A lot of stop losses will be hitting, right? And if there's a lot of sell stop losses hitting, that means people can position themselves for institutions can actually position themselves to actually push the price down. That's basically a fake out. So that is exactly what happened here. It's basically the same liquidity sweep, fake out, it's all the same thing. People just look for fancy names to call these things, but it's actually all the same thing. And then some people's stop losses would have got hit in here, so they'll be out. So that is basically why I saw this line and drew it here. So that is one. Let me even type it. So the first one we had was liquidity. So like I said, I don't really trade liquidity, like all those traders, but I just understand it, so I can choose to remove it. It don't even matter. It's not part of my original analysis. And then on the 4-hour time frame now, what did we have here? I was already seeing patterns, like I said that time. Price was already downtrending. Let me draw the line. So as you can see now, whenever we have a low, what's always happening? We have a low, we have a high, and then price just dumps. We did the same thing here. We had a low, we had a high, price dumped. What do you expect price to do again? We have a low, we have a high. You just expect price to fall. That's basically what it means. You expect price to continue in that downtrend. So on the 4-hour we had a downtrend. So we can just type 4-hour downtrend, and I'll change this to daily liquidity sweep, 4-hour downtrend. So that's basically what we had on the 4-hour time frame that I saw. So moving on lower, this is where I start drawing all my lines. Like basically the 1-hour time frame, I start drawing the main thing, which was the area of interest box I drew here. So I drew this box because now, as you can see now, this was actually the one I was paying attention to. Now, I didn't even want to go far. This was actually the area because we had a support level here, so we had support here. So we broke this, we retested, and came all the way down here again. We've been testing it, and then we're under now. So anytime we're under, we're selling. Anytime we're over, we are buying. That's basically what an area of interest is. Basically a mix of support and resistance levels together. So now we're under now, so we're supposed to be what? Selling. Yes, basically adding to what I'm doing. So basically that is why I drew this box. So I just extended this just because it's actually, because this was what was happening when we're here. We sold, when we're here too, we sold. Now we're here. So it's basically the same pattern that we're doing. And then I drew this trend line. So trend line must have at least 3 touches, and the way I draw my trend line is I basically wait for it to actually have lower lows before I actually draw it. That is how I draw my trend line. So I wait for this 3-wave move. Let me draw it again. I wait for basically a 3-wave move before I draw my trend line. then I know, okay, since I've seen this three-way move, price will probably come test it and then basically fall. So we're basically on that, trend line now. We're basically on the third touch of the trend line. That is another confluence I saw. So let me write the two things I saw. Okay, so first thing I saw was an area of interest, right? And then the second thing I saw was a downtrend line. Basically on the 1 hour time frame, right? So zooming in now, what can you see here? So basically now on this place now, most people will be looking to sell. Let's say we couldn't see this part of the entire, let me put this here. So let's say this part was blocked, right? Let's say it was just this part that was showing that time. So basically what people will try to do, people will try to sell at this place. But I don't roll like that, because your stop loss might even be hit, or because I don't just look at where price is or the confirmation that price is giving. I look at three things. What happened before. So now before, you can see that price was having an uptrend. It was repeatedly having an uptrend. You get? It was repeatedly having an uptrend. That was what price was doing. So I don't just look at where price is and just draw my line to sell. Yeah, I actually look at what is actually happening before price reached that level. So you can see that we had an uptrend on this particular level. So I won't just sell like that. I will need an extra confirmation to actually make sure that price is going to sell. And what's that? Double top. So that is why seeing this double top just made it extra sure that price was going to sell. Price is going to sell. So that is why that's another confirmation too. So we have our fifth one, which is double top. And then looking down again, we didn't just break the neckline to form a double top. What happened is we now came back to come and retest the neckline. So you have a break and retest of the double top neckline, and then basically on that retest we now touched this 50 EMA. So we touched the 50 EMA, which was that's why I also said that time that I was seeing patterns. Now tell me one pattern you can see here. When we are always above and price is touching the EMA, we did what we bought. When we're here, price was up, price was below the EMA and touched the EMA, we did what we sold. Same thing as here. What do you expect to happen here? Price is basically under the EMA line. Let me show you. Let me delete this. So we have it. Price is basically under the EMA line and touching it. What do you expect to happen? We expect it to sell. Basically, that is what is meant to happen. And then not just that, we had an evening star pattern here. What was actually happening in common in this area? We all had a massive drop. So that is basically what I'm anticipating here, that if we can have an evening star here, we should basically be selling.